Hi, this is Shui with a review of a brand new Prospex model, which is the sequel to the one that I've heaped praise on, which is the X-40. It had a boost-like material on the midsole called the Invisible Rebound, and it was really good. It was better than Boost in many ways, and the shoe had it was a total package. This one is the second one called the X-40 Run 112. Run 112. It's a long name there. The design is quite simple and plain, but sleek and nice. It's midsole. It's a similar kind of material, but they try to improve on it a little bit. The density has been changed a little bit. It's a little bit thicker on the heel and a little bit lower to the ground, the forefoot. So it feels like walking on sort of like the heel to toe drop of a Max 270 React. You feel that chunky cushioning on the heel and an immediate drop. Too much of a drop on the forefoot. Some people complain about the 270, saying you feel like you're walking on high heels and somewhat. Not to that extent, but it feels like there's a huge offset or drop difference there. Could be a plus or a minus depending on what kind of cushioning you prefer. If you need good shock absorption and heel impact protection and something much lower to the ground in the forefoot, you will like this. But compared to the original X-40s, I felt that the forefoot here has a lot more plush cushioning on the forefoot. The heel is a little bit lower to the ground than the X-40 112, but still I felt this was better. If you're all about the heel cushioning, go for this. So that's the difference. Can't really say it's an evolution or a digression or a step back in any way. But the upper material, again, it's sort of like a knit material, but it's kind of like homogeneous. It's not elastic in some parts and extra cross stitch in others, especially in the forefoot where it's really important. It feels like a, just knit. They do have a cross stitching, more stiffer part on the medial and lateral side. I wish they would have done with the forefoot area, because the X-40, the original one, they had a harder, stitchy, starchier forefoot toe box area and a little bit more breathable all around. So this would have been better. Fit as well, I would say X-40 fits better for me than the X-40 112 because it felt a little bit roomy. It felt a little unsafe because I did not have a firm lockdown on the toe area. But if you feel the airy, freedom to wiggle your toes kind of sensation, this is the shoe you want to go with. The tongue is well padded, and there's nice padding all around the ankle, so that's good. One plus for the X-40 112 compared to the original is it's a little bit more soft right underneath the Achilles. The X-40, for some models, sometimes I would feel a little bit of a pinching sensation here, and I had to add a little bit, try to have a little bit more of flex here so that I won't have any blisters. I won't get blisters from prolonged wear, but it provided a bit of an irritation. Another big difference is the outsole. The X-40 had a great thick rubber outsole on the forefoot and the heel, and the pattern was nice, and it provided good grip all around. The X-40 112 actually has traction on certain areas, or rather rubber areas on certain parts, just this and these color parts, and this is all exposed midsole material. So even if the nodules are pretty thick and long, I believe some people might want some traction here. Maybe not this part, but I wish they would have had something here. Traction wise, I would say this is better coverage and better traction pattern as well. The X-40 actually had a midfoot stability plate, but it was excluded from size 6 and up. It's weird. Only size 6, the baby foot size, had that plastic stabilizer, and everyone else was missing, even though that's not what it was shown in the specs on the websites or the places where on the sites where it was selling. So that was a bit of a disappointment. And this one as well, although it does have a thick midfoot area, it does not have anything to provide stability in it. So that's a disappointment. The weight, the second coming of the X-40 112 weighs a little bit lighter. For size 9, it weighs about 277 grams. The original X-40 weighed 288 grams for a size 9, so they shaved it down a little bit. The insole, they use sort of like an ortholite-like material, very thin. So overall, it kind of forms to your foot a little bit, and then it springs back into shape, but it's very thin. You barely feel it making a difference. It just provides an added stepping comfort somewhat when you're standing around, not when you're running around or doing something active. For the X-40 insoles, they had a pretty relatively thick, lower density EVA foam, which actually molded to your foot nicely. It did not have to rebound to shape. They just needed to take the form of your foot, and it worked nicely with the midsole, which actually does not bottom out very much, and it springs back quickly. So when you have a midsole that springs back to shape quickly or does not bottom out, with an insole that does not really bottom out and form to the shape of your foot, it does not seem to be a good combination. So this is also a bit of a downside or a downgrade in my opinion. Overall, yeah, that's what I can say. They did try to work a little bit with the midsole. They did not do a copy and paste of a boost like what they did with the Pro Flick version of Pro Specs, which was really just, it was visibly and the way it felt, the shock absorption, the rebound and everything, it was just boost. But this, they tried to go back to the formula of the invisible rebound is what they call, so the density and everything is controlled a little bit. The heel cushioning is fantastic. So if you're all about the heel impact protection, do go for the second one. But if you're all about the overall comfort, if you can find the older version, you can go for that. One clear update is that the heel cup, it's a little bit firmer, it's a little bit more prominent, and also there's this added TPU lining around it to provide an added level of stability.